welcome to DKR Sports. I'm Rubin, and this is Deion.
Today, we have Kevin Garnett retires after 21 years, leads the T-Wolves in games played, points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. How are they going to cope with it? The Pats skunked the Texans 27-0 despite the third-string quarterback. USA hockey team eliminated by Canada in the World Cup of Hockey. Adrian Peterson suffers torn meniscus, no timetable for return. And we got Norman and Beckham Jr. face-off this weekend. Can OBJ shut Norman and the Redskins up, or do the Giants fault and suffer their first loss to Cousins & Co.?
We also have Gary Sanchez, the rookie out of New York Yankees. We got some preview on him. We got some college football preview, some NFL preview. We got some updates on Chris Bosh, and we got some interesting things by Enes Kanter to see what he has to say today.
What exactly did Kanter have to say?
Well, Kanter, always going on about stuff. Well, KG finally decided to retire, and Enes Kanter finally thought, hey, how about I get one last jab in at KG? And he said, finally retiring KG and joining. KG was finally retiring, and he said, finally retiring and joining his knees that retired 6 years ago. So I'm throwing jabs at him.
Those are shots. Enes Kanter also said, it's kind of funny that they both happened at about the same time. Now that KD's gone, Enes Kanter's speaking out and saying that Russell Westbrook was in fact the Thunder's leader last season, not Kevin Durant. That's a little crazy to me. But at the same time, I guess when you look at the statistics, KD has been injured a lot of the last 2 seasons. Westbrook's been getting buckets. He's been the guy.
Yeah, KD's always been that, for the Oklahoma City, now he's gone to the Warriors, oh goodness. But back on the Thunder, really, Westbrook, he ran the offense, he was the point guard. He was able to rebound, throw assists, able to score. KD was that, his able to pass out and get that assist, get that bucket they really needed.
He gave the assist to Westbrook.
Yep.
Westbrook was the one passing it to him. Gotcha. Definitely KD has been taking shots about leaving the Thunder, obviously, saying that because he couldn't win with the Thunder that he was weak and that he decided to go to the Warriors just so he could win. It's kind of coincidental that I saw a video and KD and the Thunder were up 3-1 on the Warriors. 3-1. And the Warriors came back and won the series. The Thunder got eliminated. Rumors came about. The Warriors also lost a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. And it seems that Kevin Durant and the Warriors are, it seems like they're a perfect match for each other.
I mean, yeah, that was probably the cruelest thing he does. I mean, he leaves Oklahoma City.
He got drafted by Oklahoma City back when they were in Seattle.
He got drafted. He was their franchise player after the Supersonics. He goes there, and this year in the playoffs, he chokes 3-1. They were up on Golden State.
Completely chokes.
1.
And then, because I'm going to choke, why don't I just go to the team that beat me?
Yeah.
That's a pretty low blow. What else do we have?
Well, we got Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh.
Gotta talk about Chris.
After I've watched him for so long, back when he was with the Raptors and he went to the Heat, he won 2 titles with the Heat, and he wasn't even cleared to play.
Nope.
His physical didn't go through. He's been getting bad blood clots lately, and I think it's possibly the end of his career.
With Chris Bosh now out after this physical, released earlier today. That's one last blow to the Heat. They lose Dwayne Wade in free agency to Chicago.
Wade's gone.
Now Chris Bosh and his career might be over. They have Hassan Whiteside and Dragic.
That's it.
That team, I don't know where they're going to go.
You go from a top seed in the East.
I don't think they'll make playoffs.
To not even in the playoff picture. I think that's absolutely insane. Let's see what else we got. Oh, speaking of KG. Since we're on the topic of the NBA. Now, KG, just to cover a few of the accolades that he received, he was an NBA champion in 2008 with the Celtics, won an Olympic gold medal in 2000, he's an MVP in 2004, Defensive Player of the Year in 2008, an All-Star Game MVP in 2003. He was a 15-time All-Star.
KG is one of those special players. He came out of high school, Fragrant Academy to be specific. He was drafted 5th overall in the 1995 draft, but he was that franchise player for the Timberwolves for so long. And the only reason he left was because he couldn't get a ring there. So they established that super team, one of those first, modern era super teams that we've had in the 2000s. They go to Boston, they have Paul Pierce, Rondo, Ray Allen, him. They win. But, they only had that real 1 year.
That 1 year.
And then they fall to pieces.
And then they separate.
Yep, they separate.
KG, Paul Pierce stayed. Ray Allen got shipped down to Miami. Yep. And then...
Not longer, not a couple years later, both him and Paul Pierce get shipped to Brooklyn. And then Rondo was still there, but Rondo's now gone.
Doc Rivers went to the Clippers, and then you see Paul Pierce follow him. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's crazy. He was also, not to mention, a 12-time All-Defensive Team player. He was a first team from 2000 to 2005, 08 to 09, and 2011.
Yep.
And he was second team 6 to 7 in 2012. I remember watching a couple videos on him of him in high school, and he was such an aggressive player. He was the first, I guess you could say, stretch forward. He was the first quote unquote center that could run guard.
Yep.
And he could dribble. Mm-hmm. He could take it down the floor.
Yeah, he had a great
he was aggressive, and Kevin Garnett has always been, I hate to say it, but he's always been the bad guy.
Oh, no, yeah.
And he's always been the trash talker, but he's always backed it up.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great storyline for him to have left, went to Brooklyn, and floated around the NBA, but then the Timberwolves signed him back to that contract so he could retire as a T-Wolf, and I think that was great.
That's probably the best thing. Because if you look at it, I think Kevin Garnett will make the Hall of Fame, and it's
first ballot.
It's a great thing that he's now back in Minnesota. He was at Minnesota for the last year, and he will retire there, so he'll be credited as a Timberwolf in the NBA Hall of Fame. That's probably the greatest thing for him.
A crazy stat. Kevin Garnett spent more time as an NBA player than he did not as an NBA player.
Yeah.
He entered the NBA at 18 years old. This guy played in the league for 21 years. Mm-hmm. And through all the mentoring and everything, he still was a dominant force in the league, even right before retirement. And I find that to be, he's a freak in nature.
Well, I remember when he was, you hear the stories just of him in high school. You look at the highlight film. He was Illinois' Mr. Basketball. Every college wanted him. He was a McDonald's All-American. But instead, he forgoes that and goes to the draft. It's debatable if you look at the ones and dones now. You had Kobe, you had LeBron, you had Kevin Garnett. They were great high school guys who were able to do it. But I don't feel like we're in that era anymore. We have guys who
go
to college.
We're out of the high school era. We no longer are able to see the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryant, the the KG, the Moses Malone. We can't see that anymore.
But
that was a historical feat. Like, imagine, we just got out of high school, and there's absolutely no way I'd be able to compete at the same level as anybody in the NBA. To think that KG was strong enough to come in the league, not only come in, but to come in and dominate at such a young age, and persist to do that for 21 years. That's longer than I've been alive. The guy's been in the NBA. That's insane.
Well, it just goes to show you that players back then, early 2000s, so you have LeBron, you have Kobe, you have Kevin Garnett. They're just unreal players. They came out of high school, and they go there. Because you look at it now, you have one-and-done players in college basketball now. So many of them are not ready. There's so many top 10 draft picks in the past 5 years that are irrelevant.
And these guys were ready straight out of high school. You got one-and-dones that have experience under their belt, that have won a national championship.
And they're still not ready.
And they're still not ready to participate in the NBA. Moving on, later news in the MLB, the playoff picture is definitely closing. The Red Sox have continued to win, and it's insane to me, but Big Papi, David Ortiz, I strongly dislike the Red Sox, but numbers don't lie. David Ortiz is a legend. He has the record now for most home runs in a final season.
Yep.
It's crazy. Boston's 89-64. They're on an 8-game win streak to finish out his career. They just swept the Orioles.
Yep.
They're on to Tampa Bay next. And I mean, I just think it's crazy. Another thing, Cleveland, the capital of sports catastrophe, the place that you've never saw win a championship ever, finally has done something. It's absolutely insane. The Cleveland Indians, they're 89-63. That is nuts. Absolutely nuts. They won their division, and they're moving on to the playoffs now that October's approaching, and they're looking really, really, really good.
Well, I mean, like you hear about the great teams. You got the Indians. They're so good. But the one team that should be good, the New York Yankees. I mean, they have the best rookie right now. I feel Gary Sanchez. He's a beast. I mean, the guy has 19 home runs. He broke Wally Berger's record of 51 games, getting 19 runs. He's gotten, I believe, 45 now. And the Yankees, though, they cannot win.
I remember being a Yankees fan. The last time the Yankees won a championship, I believe, was 2007.
Yeah, well, it was a while ago.
And it was a long time ago. And it's like the Yankees completely fell off the face of the earth. I mean, it's disappointing. But when you look at it, the Yankees are 3 games. They're 3 games out of the playoffs. Now, they have an advantage. They do play Toronto. They have a series with Toronto. And Toronto happens to be one of the wild card teams. The Yankees are on a 1-game losing streak. They came off a tough loss last night. But, I mean, there's possibility. They have a very rare chance of making it. But I think if they prevail, I think they can do it.
For the Yankees to make it, this is a bold prediction, but I think they got to win out.
They have to. I agree. They have to win out. They have to sweep Toronto, and they have to move on with their season. I mean, they can't lose again.
They can't rely on luck. I mean, yes, they don't have to win out, and they could still make it. But the most guaranteed way of them making that wild card spot is if they win out. I mean, last night didn't help them with a loss.
No.
Against Tampa Bay, that didn't help. So I mean, they need to win out, I feel. But another New York team that they're much better. The Mets are now out there.
As much as I hate to admit it, the Mets are a good team.
They're a good team.
They're a good team. I mean, they're ahead of the wild card picture. It looks like they're not as secure though.
Well,
But they are in a series with Philadelphia. They beat Philadelphia last night. They beat them 9-8 in an absolutely crazy game.
Well, the biggest problem that they had is they just, with the Phillies win finally, they come out of a 3-game losing streak. And that's something that I don't think they could. That 3-game losing streak hurt them. They were secured much more early before that series. They had a lot more assurances that they would actually make the postseason. Now they'll still make it, I believe. I believe in their team, but they can't go anymore. Getting swept. That's not going to work.
Okay, so what should we touch on next? I think next, what do you got? College football?
Yeah, let's go college football. Let's go to the big
college
football.
Now I think so far. Let's go ahead. Let's go out on a limb. Let's make a Heisman prediction.
Oh, Heisman.
Heisman prediction. Now, I hate to say it, but
I would go in the same place.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
We watched him play in person a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
We watched him completely hurdle a guy.
Yep.
And the guy's ridiculous.
It's amazing to see what Lamar Jackson's done. Just last year, he was this blue-chip prospect out of high school who had never used the playbook. Now we're in his sophomore season, and this guy has
913 passing yards.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's more than twice as many as the second candidate has.
He also has 18 all-purpose touchdowns. I want to say
18.
Just from him creating them, running, throwing.
That's 126 points.
Yeah.
That's more than some teams have scored in 3 games.
Yep. It's amazing to see what he's done. And we came into the year. It was Deshaun Watson, Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey. Those were your options. You had no more. Neither.
Where did
none.
Lamar Jackson come from?
He came from nowhere.
The guy's got 18 touchdowns in 3 games. Like, you sit there and fathom that number, and you're in shock.
Yep.
18 touchdowns.
And the thing is, the first 2 games he had Charlotte, Syracuse. Okay, he didn't play anyone. 3rd game, Florida State. Number 2 ranked Florida State. Yeah, Florida State has a freshman quarterback, Deion Francois, who in his own right is good, no doubt. They beat Ole Miss earlier in the season. They have a great defense, though. But the fact that Lamar Jackson was able to put so many points on them, and their defense was able to hold them to fewer points than what Syracuse scored on them.
Florida State was supposed to be a Final Four contender in the national championship run. They were supposed to go to the BCS. Forgive me, I've dealt with it my whole life. The college football playoff. In other news, have you saw the Oregon Ducks jerseys?
They look exactly like Ducks.
Absolutely insane. They completely match the mascot.
Yep.
I think it's crazy. Now, granted, they are kind of lucky. The Nike, football designer, he graduated from Oregon, so
he hooks them up all the time. They have the best uniforms.
They have the best everything. To cut to a quick college football scoreboard, it looks like we have USC and Utah going at it right now. Utah number 24 is tied with USC right now, 7-7. Do you smell possible upset there?
I can't say that.
Can't say that.
Utah, a good team. They've been a good team for the past couple years. USC, they have potential. They'll be back to the years of Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, but it's not yet.
There's absolutely no way that you can't go back to that team.
They have potential. They might not get back to the
always
exact.
Get a good recruiting class.
Yeah,
I think they need the coach. They need an X factor.
That's true.
They need every good team to win a national championship.
Look at Michigan. Michigan went from Lloyd Carr. They fired him after the Appalachian State game. They go to Rich Rodriguez. They're terrible. Then they bring in Jim Harbaugh. They're back.
And they're instantly back. They're instantly atop the rankings. Now, to bring the rankings into sort, there were some mix-ups after the Florida State game. I think in our sections we're only going to cover the AP poll because the coaches poll always found it to be not as accurate.
Yeah.
But we got Alabama atop that still, 3-0. Ohio State climbed up from 3-2. Louisville, the big mover, went from 10 to 3 after the crushing victory over Florida State. That was bad. Michigan State at 4. Then we got Michigan State jumping up to 8. Texas A&M, after their slaughtering, they jumped up to number 10 after being 17. That's a big jump.
The thing Texas A&M has going for them is Trevor Knight, the transfer from Oklahoma just a few years ago. I remember watching Oklahoma and Trevor Knight. He was a Heisman Trophy contender back then. Then he gets hurt. They get Baker Mayfield. He sees, okay, I gotta leave. He leaves. He goes to Texas A&M. Texas A&M, they needed a quarterback so bad.
Right.
They get him. Texas A&M, they're looking like they're back to when Johnny Manziel was there.
Now, another thing I noticed, Oklahoma, a big drop in this week's poll. Did you catch the Cal game?
Yep.
Absolutely insane. Cal puts up 50 on them.
Yep, I'm Texas. Yeah, it was Cal.
Oklahoma I don't know what happened. Granted, they fell completely off the map. This is what happens, I think, when you overrate a team. The team gets challenged by a mid-major school, and, then out of nowhere, it's just, they fall off, and I think it's absolutely terrible.
Well, the rank, I do like the ranking system now, though. I do like that. You look at it, you look at a team like Iowa. Iowa lost to North Dakota State.
But North Dakota State,
when
you think about it, North Dakota State,
they're the best team in the FCS. 5 straight FCS titles. Carson Wentz
came out and won 5. He has 5 rings on his fingers because of the national championship. And forgive me, I did mean Texas in that statement.
Texas,
but Oklahoma also suffered a loss. They're a big mover. They dropped 11.
Well,
but they played a great team in Ohio State.
The thing is Oklahoma, it was such a big matchup, but Oklahoma, they have so much weighing on them after the college football playoff last year.
Right.
They get there with Baker Mayfield, a former walk-on, but then they get thrashed.
Absolutely tore. Now, give it to Ohio State. They managed to pick up a good running back. Weber had 123 yards on 18 carries. Now that's a good game. Now, when you look at Ohio State, their quarterback isn't exactly the best that you've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
but I remember watching him have his coming out party against Alabama.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I mean that was nuts.
I feel like JT Barrett is I kind of feel bad for the guy.
I feel like he's consistent. He's overlooked, but he is a very good quarterback.
You look at when they had Cardell Jones just a couple years ago. When JT Barrett, after Braxton Miller was hurt, JT Barrett took over the job. JT Barrett carries them all the way to the Big Ten championship game.
JT Barrett gets hurt,
and then they bring in Cardell Jones.
Who do you go to?
Of course, I guess he's a third-string quarterback. He wins the national championship. That's great, but it seems like people forgot about. They said let's start Cardell Jones over JT Barrett, and I was saying it from the start when they did that. Cardell Jones, yes, he's okay, but it's too much hype. Ohio State just had a good team that year.
Correct. Now Ohio State's 3-0. They also have a good receiver in Noah Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He had 9 receptions, 134 yards, and 5 touchdowns this season. Just the last game. I mean, he had 74 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, it's like JT Barrett isn't – it's like he's not throwing it to anybody else, but it seemed like it worked. And
I mean, whatever works.
Whatever works. If it's not broke,
don't fix it.
Don't fix it. Moving on, I think what all you guys really need, especially when you're betting on the line, definitely everybody needs a little help. They need to know who to pick. Now, Thursday, Clemson overcame GT in what everybody thought was going to be the upset, saying that...
Because Deshaun Watson's played so bad. He came in as the favorite. Leonard Fournette probably came in as the favorite. It's debatable.
Deshaun Watson, I think, was the favorite.
Deshaun Watson was very good. He comes into the season. They played terrible.
Now, granted, he's having a decent year. He's got 900. He's almost got 1,000 yards passing. He's got 9 touchdowns. He's got 4 interceptions. But those 4 interceptions are kind of plaguing him. Clemson is not winning how they should be.
Well, they played Troy just 2 weeks ago, and they won by a touchdown, 3 points.
Yes, not by a lot. I mean, maybe that was their bounce back. I think it's great though because growing up, I've always seen the SEC be the dominant conference. And we're finally starting to evolve into a bigger.
That's true.
A bigger picture because we have always saw the SEC.
I mean, we still
Alabama. But you got other schools moving in there. Florida State's moved in there the last.
You got Clemson.
You got Pac-12 schools such as Oregon, Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
You got Big Ten schools. You got Michigan, Ohio State.
Big 12, you got Oklahoma. I mean, it's such a more diverse. College football has become so much diverse. I mean, Alabama. They're still a dynasty, okay? They're still great.
They're still
the
good.
only problem is, though, the rest of the SEC is declining.
It's terrible.
LSU doesn't even have a quarterback in Brandon Harris who can pass the ball.
All they have is Leonard Fournette.
That's all they have.
You can't win with just a running back.
No, you can't.
Georgia shows you that.
No, yeah. I mean, so it's, the SEC, they've been good. Mississippi State without Dak Prescott, they're
nothing.
Yeah, they're nothing. We've seen that. Everyone always thought Mississippi State made Dak Prescott. I feel like Dak Prescott made Mississippi State.
Absolutely 100% true. Being from Mississippi, I know how it is. I know that there was no flutter. There was no, there wasn't this, ringing in the air. Reference to the cowbells, just to throw that in there, but Dak made Mississippi State, and he was there for a couple years. He led them to a great season, which, granted, he couldn't finish. He did choke. Now,
the thing about that though is Dak.
You can't be the whole team.
Exactly,
you can't be the whole team.
I feel if to make a comparison, if we take Dak and we put him on what Johnny Manziel had in 2012 when they they beat their Alabamas, or even the next year when they lost to Alabama, they had Mike Evans. He never had those kind of threats.
He never had the threats.
Yeah.
You can't be a quarterback. I mean, not everybody's the Tom Brady of anything. You can't just make every receiver good. That's not an everyday thing. There's some great games lined up for this weekend.
Oh, no, there are.
Not to mention SU and UConn. Do not miss that. That's going to be a great game.
Bounce back.
But we have Georgia, number 12, and Ole Miss, number 23. That is, as a matter of fact, where's that game? That's in Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big game. Now, I'm not exactly, sure how it's going to turn. I think I'm going to take Ole Miss with the upset here.
I got to take Georgia. The one reason I got to say I don't know about that. If Ole Miss can learn how to finish a game, they've blown out Florida State and Alabama.
They were ahead of Alabama the whole game. Next thing you know, they're
Alabama.
smacked. They are absolutely smacked, and an interception comes out, and I mean, that's the game. That's the entire game. Now you have Ole Miss. I think the deciding factor for that game, location. I think if it was in Georgia, it'd be great, but it is a noon game. It's actually, I mean, it's in Ole Miss, and I mean the atmosphere there. Chad Kelly, he's not a bad quarterback. I mean, he's got an arm. He's got a plus 60% completion rate.
Yep.
He averages 9 yards per attempt. And he's got 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and I mean, I think that's really, really good. But the problem is, like you said, you can't choke.
No, you can't.
They have to finish the game in order to upset Georgia. I think it's very possible, and I mean, I think that's my prediction. We also got Michigan State and Wisconsin. That is a tough one, but it's in Michigan.
Yeah, it's in Michigan State.
I can't go against Michigan State.
At home, no, it's
at home.
Hard.
You can never go against Michigan.
I mean, Wisconsin.
They just came off a great win against Notre Dame.
Michigan State. The score, how it ended, doesn't look like Michigan State did that well.
They did absolutely great.
The score is inflated.
Tyler O'Connor's been amazing. I mean, he hasn't exactly had the most stat-filled year.
But I mean, Michigan State's never that stat.
He's 32 for 44. He's got a 70-plus completion percentage. He's got 431 yards. If you're judging that based on passes, the guy's got 32 attempts.
Yep.
Or 44 attempts with 32 completions. That is, with 431 yards. That's NFL numbers. Yep. The guy's got 5 touchdowns and 2 picks. He's got 183.4 rating. And I think that's really good. I think there's absolutely no way. Wisconsin may be ranked 11, but
I feel like that's an inflated ranking because they beat LSU, who is a number 5 team.
They only have Leonard.
Exactly.
Speaking of that game, did you see the dirty hit at the end?
Yep.
Absolutely insane.
Yes.
Absolutely insane. But I think Wisconsin's, like you said, I think they're very inflated.
Yeah.
I think that LSU was a very overrated team. I think
Definitely.
they always are just because of their recruiting class.
Yeah, I mean.
But I think with Leonard Fournette being a Heisman, a Heisman watch. Yep. I think any team with a Heisman watch,
you have to put them. They have to be ranked. That's the only. I mean, you can't have a Heisman watch candidate and the guy
not
the team
rank
not be ranked.
The team. Stanford always has a good rank, and just because of Christian McCaffrey, and Christian McCaffrey is not the whole team. What do we have next? We have some more games. We have Florida and Tennessee.
That's an interesting one.
That's gonna be
I don't know because Tennessee. I thought Tennessee was so bad.
Florida with the upset. I gotta call it. I think Florida's
I don't
back.
know. I'm so conflicted.
I think they're as good as they've been since Tebow. They haven't
played
well. They haven't played well since then. You know what? Speaking of Tebow, since we already touched, Tebow's playing with
the Mets.
Playing with the Mets.
Yeah,
that's absolutely crazy. Here comes Tebow. Washed up, nobody wants him in the NFL. Speaking of which, I think Bill Belichick might want to talk to you.
Oh, they might need you, Tebow.
They got 3 QBs down, and I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think they would love some Tebow right now. I think Florida's back. I think
Florida's
Florida's a
back.
force to be
I
reckoned
mean, I
with.
want to say Tennessee is not a good team because they played terrible the first week against Appalachian
Absolutely.
State. They played horrific. Appalachian State had that game and just lost it. But against Virginia Tech in that Bristol Motorsports thing last week, they had so much success.
But you got to think, though, what team is not going to have a lot of success with a home game in front of
50. Oh,
That's insane. The highest recorded crowd in college football history. You can't not be successful in front of that.
Yep.
Another good game. We got Michigan and Penn State, which I think Michigan's going to destroy them. But
yeah,
it's a nice little rivalry game. You know, Penn State's been looking decent lately.
I mean, they lost Christian Hackenberg, but they're trying to rebuild. I mean, the thing though is Michigan, Jabril Peppers is that guy.
He can do it
NFL.
all.
I don't know what he's gonna play, but he's gonna be good.
He can do it all. We got Houston.
Houston is a team that you have to watch.
Houston is a team that you got to watch. I think they're I don't think they're underrated because they're definitely number 6.
Ward
but
is
I think
great.
their quarterback is definitely he's a Heisman candidate.
He is.
And I think he's got good stats. He's got the numbers to prove it. He can back himself up. And, I mean, he's not bad.
Houston has the potential. I mean, with the schedule they have.
Now, with the schedule they have the potential. They should win out.
They've already beat Oklahoma. Yep.
As long as one of these top 5 teams gets knocked off, which
I think is going to happen.
Every year,
I mean, it's
top 5
guaranteed.
teams get knocked off. They
Michigan.
can make it into the Final Four if they win out and continue to play well.
Well, Michigan and Ohio State have to play eventually.
Exactly.
Michigan State eventually have to play.
One of them, they're going to drop out.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely going to drop out, and I think as long as they drop out, Houston's going to continue to move up every week.
Yep.
I think that, you know, I think that's what's going to happen.
I think one last game that's really good to look at is the Arkansas Texas A&M.
Arkansas A&M. I think
Arkansas though is another one of those teams I'm not sure about because they beat
what?
TCU and got into the rankings. But Brett Bielema in Arkansas, he finds ways to win. Okay, he is I don't know. He's an average coach some years. He's an above average other years.
You never know.
But,
well, I think Arkansas is always that upset team. I mean, for Christ's sake, they're 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Their numbers are not lying right now. They have a good quarterback. They have, you know, I mean, he's got 655 yards. He's got a average. Maybe even above average. They
can run the ball.
They can run the football.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got, I mean, Williams III, he's got 71 carries, 354 yards. If you're averaging 5 yards a carry, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Which, granted, he's not exactly a touchdown back, but they've been able to finish. Now, like you said, they beat TCU. They put up 41 on TCU.
Which TCU is one of those teams, I mean, they are good.
Now, last week, they did play Texas State, which isn't exactly, I mean, but they handled them 42-3.
That's a good thing.
Just like a ranked school should handle
that's what they should do.
Program.
But the thing is Texas A&M last week also handled their, small, let's have a tune-up game against.
I think A&M's going to take it. I think it's going to be a close one. I think A&M's going to take it by.
I think A&M has it.
I think A&M's going to take it by. I think it's going to be a very close game.
With a win at Auburn last week, I think A&M will take it, but it's going to be a close one.
I think
Trevor Knight's good, but it's not going to be a blowout.
I think final score, I take 31-24.
I take that. Yeah.
Another interesting game. Another very interesting game. We got Louisville at Marshall. Now, I mean, I don't exactly think this is the most interesting game.
You just want to watch it, Lamar.
But you just want to watch it. Lamar Jackson puts up stats. I'm an SU fan. I watched us get our ass whooped by Lamar Jackson. And this guy is nuts. He's ridiculous.
Okay, so at Syracuse, he had 400 passing, 199 rushing.
That's
against Marshall. I'm saying 400 passing.
No. I'll go 400 passing, but I think he's putting up 2+ rushing.
Oh, definitely.
Easily
200. Yeah, he will do better than what he did against Syracuse.
He is a monster. Marshall is one of those teams that you've always had to watch out for, but
not this year. It's over.
It's an off year.
Lamar is about to run through them. It's
all he's going to do is extend that lead over the Heisman, and it's just going to make him look good. And I mean, that's just the reality of it. Okay, so you got You got your college football predictions. You have, your over and under. I'm sure you know who to take. We gave you a couple upsets. Now, for the real challenge. Now we're going to move on to the NFL, but I think first it's very important. We need to cover the Thursday night game, which I'm sure all of you play fantasy football. I happen to have LeGarrette Blount.
No one has Jacoby though. No Brissett. I don't think.
No one has Jacoby Brissett. I think that would have been a smart pickup for this week. Wrong. I would have never in my life grabbed a Pats third-string quarterback. Now that was an insane game. Watching it, everybody's prediction: the Texans. Houston is going to kick the Pats' ass. No, they're not. Jacoby Brissett was the real deal until he tore his thumb.
Yeah,
but he's for Belichick to take a third-string rookie quarterback.
North Carolina State. I mean,
which NC State, all due respect to NC State, you got Russell Wilson.
They got some good.
That's a product out of NC State. That's another school that you just need to watch out for. But I think,
the game. The game's interesting. I mean, Jacoby's hurt, but the thing is Houston. They got
Houston looked so good.
But come on, bro, I know Houston on paper should be good. Everyone always said they just needed a quarterback. When they had Brian Hoyer, people said if they could just get a quarterback,
they got Brock Osweiler.
What are they doing now?
What are they doing? They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got J.J. Watt. They have an all-star defense.
And they couldn't score a point.
They have an all-star offense, and they sucked. They couldn't. They barely got past the 50-yard line. That's nuts. Brock Osweiler had a terrible game. Granted, the Patriots' defense did play great.
Yes.
But the rookie QB played so smart. He took short passes. He didn't fire it down the field. If he did, he made sure to overthrow it. He made sure to not lead anything into trouble. And
the one thing that you do see from this game, and this might, I don't know, this shouldn't get Patriots.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think the Pats are going undefeated this year. There's no way anybody's going to beat them.
It's going to be very hard. They've got eventually they'll.
They're 3-0. They're 2-0 with Jimmy G.
Yeah.
They're 1-0 with Brissett. They got one game. Now, funny topic. Who in the hell is going to play quarterback for the Patriots this week?
They're going to...
Granted, Matt Flynn is a free agent, and we all know that Matt Flynn performs in one-game stunts, but Tebow, be looking out for that call.
Michael Vick
making a return. The battle of the lefties. Who is going to make it? I think Tebow, training camp, I think, he can go hit home runs, he can go catch balls, but that call is going to be from Belichick.
Yes.
And it's going to be interesting.
I don't know what... all I know is that what I've seen the past 3 games is that the Patriots, Tom Brady is a great quarterback. Probably the best right now. The one thing is, though, the Patriots, and this should not get a Patriots fan upset, the Patriots have a systematic offense that you can put any quarterback in. The thing is, Tom Brady is so good, he makes it better. But the Patriots they're so fluid. They don't make mistakes.
They don't make mistakes. They're perfect. With a third-string quarterback, if you can be perfect, I think if they're kicking ass, Houston was a good team. 2-0. They got a lot of weapons. Granted, the game wasn't Foxborough, but
come on.
Houston was good. You got 2-0 teams battling. One team's not going home undefeated.
Yep.
And everybody thought it was going to be the Pats. Mm-hmm. Houston comes in and gets rocked. Completely unexpected. They had multiple fumbles on kickoffs.
I don't understand.
So many mistakes.
Hold on to the ball.
Now, I would justify that the Patriots won based on the turnovers.
Yes.
But
you
have to look at it this way. Houston could not get past the 50 on offense. If you capitalize on offense, defense does win championships, but to get to those championships,
you need the
your offense has to win games.
Yeah.
You can't shut somebody out 0-0 and you can't shut somebody out 0-0 and win a game.
No.
You have to put up points. You have to move the ball. You have to get up the field.
A lot of people might say, well, Jacoby, okay, he wasn't that good though. He didn't really pass the ball. The thing is though,
He played
they
smart.
ran the ball and it worked.
LeGarrette
Whatever
Blount had
works.
105. Now, fantasy stat stuffer.
Yeah.
105 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's
Blunt-
a game.
Blunt's one you gotta take out.
That is a game. Blount gets touchdowns. Blount does it all.
Yep.
Now, before we make our predictions for the week, I say we jump into fantasy a little bit. You know,
Yep.
give you a little insight. This is going to be a tough week. I think this is going to be a very tough week.
I can say one thing.
I think. How do you want to do this? I say we take what? Let's go. Two players at each position.
Yeah, we can do that. We can just, who's the best.
Let's
Who do
fill
you
our
think's gonna
own
be-
fantasy team up for the week.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay, yeah.
Let me get my format up, and then I can figure.
Well, I can tell you one thing while you're doing that is that I feel Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a comeback week.
You think
He's
so?
gonna
I've
get
been
his
thinking
act
that.
together.
Now. I have
I
been
know.
thinking that. He's going to have to get his act together. Okay, so we got our team set. We got our slate ready. You get your DraftKings ready. You do whatever you got to do. You can pause it. You can wait. We're going to give you some bold predictions. I'm the fantasy king around here.
He is the
I
fantasy
always get the predictions right. I mean, last week, I spanked. Compared to the projections, I outscore the projections, almost double the projection. You gotta listen, because we're gonna give you the information, and you have to use it. Now, I say at quarterback, let's go. We're gonna look off at NFL. I think he's got ESPN up over there.
I got ESPN.
Now, this is tough. Alex Smith might have a good game this week. Now, Tyrod Taylor did outstanding against the Jets defense.
Yep.
The Jets defense is their secondary. Darrell Revis.
What happened to Revis?
He fell off.
Revis doesn't have an island anymore.
What do they call him? Burnt Toast Island.
Yep.
Revis is getting
People are
burnt.
partying on that island.
So I think Alex Smith could possibly have a really
Well, the
really
Chiefs.
good game.
The Chiefs are a team that you gotta watch out for.
You always have to, because they always have at least, they always have some threats.
I mean, they just came back a couple of weeks ago against San Diego. They were down 24 points, something like one of the
At the
biggest.
beginning of the fourth quarter. And
I
they
mean,
came
San
back.
Diego. We don't need to talk about that.
Alex Smith can do things, though. I've watched him do things.
Yep.
I've watched him have really good career passing games, and I've watched him succeed. It's the Jets defense. Their secondaries is blown. They have a good line, but I think you can't win a game with a line. Because eventually, Alex Smith, especially, he's a mobile quarterback.
Yep.
Tyrod Taylor was a mobile quarterback. You can't trap a mobile quarterback in the pocket. Tyrod Taylor got out the pocket, and he's launching bombs. And they're catching them every time. They're receivers. Now, I do believe Sammy Watkins is out this week.
He is. I mean, I don't know, though. The thing is, though, if you look at the Jets game, right? Sammy Watkins was banged up a little bit. He played. But they didn't even target him that much. I mean, they targeted him,
They
but he
had
didn't
random
catch
guys
anything.
that I've never even heard of.
Yeah, they didn't really. He wasn't a major
Tyrod
factor.
Taylor had a great game, so I would put Alex Smith on my fantasy team if I could this week.
You know what I would do? If you have him, he might not be available. Ryan Tannehill is playing the Browns this week.
Hey,
the Browns.
You know what? Rule of thumb.
You take the guy going against the
You
Browns.
take the guy going against the Browns. You take anybody going against the Browns. And, I mean, another QB to watch out for this week. You got to watch out. If you have Joe Flacco, start him.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville's secondary is awful. Joe Flacco is a pocket passer that can launch the ball 70+. And he doesn't always have the best receivers, but they're always fast. And they're always doing something great.
I mean, one person at quarterback, I would say, though, that I would just watch out. I mean, I don't know, because he hasn't gotten together yet. Andrew Luck plays the Chargers. The Chargers...
Very good.
They're a great defensive team.
Very good point.
Offensive.
But you have to look that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
What happened in that
I don't know
couple
what
weeks
happened
ago?
there.
Alex Smith went off in the fourth quarter.
But the problem is Andrew Luck has been so unlike himself this year.
But you have to think. Aaron Rodgers has also been unlike himself.
Yeah,
Aaron
Rodgers.
I think he's going to have a good game.
I think Andrew Luck will figure it out finally. I think the one thing the Chargers do is, will this be Joey Bosa? Will he finally get it together. Get on the field.
Question: will Dak Prescott finally throw a touchdown pass? Do we see the 7 from Dak? Do we see a possible touchdown dance?
Dak is definitely one. He's good. Dak is good. But the problem with the Cowboys offense, it's not like a big fantasy quarterback.
Overrated.
I mean, they give it to Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, they have Des Bryant. But even when they have Tony Romo, they run the ball. Ever since they've had Emmitt Smith, it's run the ball. So, I mean, a quarterback there, Dak is good, but I would hold on him.
So definitely, I guess we'll take 3. You definitely, if you have Alex Smith, you want to start him at the Jets, the bad secondary. You got Ryan Tannehill. Throw him in there. He's shown greatness before. He's a good average quarterback. And then you got Joe Flacco at Jacksonville. Everybody puts up big stats against Jacksonville or Cleveland. We all know this. Yep. We've all played fantasy before. That's what you want to do. And running back. Now, I think this is going to be...
Running back, I got to say, the one guy, Forte, out of the Jets, if you have him, you got to keep him because so many good running backs are hurt right now. AP's out.
Correct.
So, I mean, if you have Forte has... His carries right now are ridiculous. He's on par to get 416 if he continues how many carries he gets a game, which is amazing. Mark Ingram is a possible. I don't know about him yet, but they're playing the Falcons. He'll get his carries, but I don't know how good he'll do.
Other quarterbacks, though, I just saw this. You definitely have, like you said, Aaron. Aaron plays at Detroit.
Yes.
Rodgers does play Detroit.
And if you have Matthew Stafford... I don't know. Matthew is whoever your backup is. Put him in.
I don't know. The Vikings just destroyed, absolutely disintegrated. Did you see Stephon Diggs?
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, actually, to tell you the truth,
Stafford's not a bad quarterback.
But Sam Bradford, I'm not saying take Sam Bradford. I'm saying though, Sam Bradford as just an overall NFL thing. The Vikings, you got to watch out for them.
You got to watch out.
Even without Teddy Bridgewater.
Take a Teddy Bridgewater might have been the best thing that's ever happened to the Vikings.
Sam Bradford might find a way to win.
I think he's the real deal. And lastly, I mean, you also have Jameis. He plays at L.A.
Winston.
Now, I would watch out for L.A. I don't
LA, that team, I don't know. I mean, their defense is good, but their offense, they got Todd Gurley. Speaking of running backs, there's your boy. You already know he's the first person.
I don't know about that. I think running backs, I think you got to take.
I feel Forte.
KC has a decent run defense. Now, he's projected to have 72 and a touchdown, but he's also projected some receiving yards and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. I think a very smart pickup this week. I think you have to go with Devontae Freeman. I'm a Saints fan, granted.
Yeah.
But the Saints defense sucks. Now, I'm going to look at the camera and say that. The Saints defense sucks.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
We are bad. Absolutely terrible.
That 2-point conversion.
Did you watch the damn game last week? I mean, I don't even know the name of who the hell did we play last week? The Giants. Their running back was getting yards. The week before that, Oakland's running back was getting yards. I mean, you can't deny it. I would start Devontae Freeman. David Johnson, that's also another guy to watch out for.
You know, it's sort of it. The Browns are so bad, but Isaiah Cromwell is actually
Cromwell. Now watch out for how do you say his name? Ajayi?
Oh, yes.
Guess who he's playing. What is the rule of thumb? If they're playing Cleveland,
you take them.
You take them every time. So I would say, possibly Forte. Stay with him. He's been
Forte will get his carries.
He's been getting 20 points a game. They trust in him. David Johnson's definitely somebody to look out for. They played Buffalo. Look what Forte did against Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And then you got to take Devontae Freeman. Saints defense is not good, and you definitely have to watch out.
Rashad Jennings is an interesting. He's a sleeper. He's a sleeper.
Now, if you want a sleeper,
yeah.
Rashad Jennings is the guy.
Rashad Jennings. Or maybe even
quarterback. We gave you our sleeper. Ryan Tannehill's a sleeper.
Oh, it's Ryan.
We got. We'll come back to the sleepers in a second, and then we'll give you the people that will make you the most money on DraftKings, or possibly make your fantasy dreams come true. Now let's go to receiver.
Okay. I mean,
Kyler. All due respect, I love you, dog, but Antonio Brown is playing Philadelphia. He's gonna put up numbers.
Oh my God! If you didn't know our producer Kyler sitting in the background here,
all respect to Kyler.
His good old Philadelphia Eagles.
Loves the Eagles.
Fly Eagles fly, baby.
But Antonio Brown is ridiculous. This guy talks so much trash and he backs it up.
I mean, okay, Larry Fitzgerald, Arizona.
I'm not taking Larry Fitz this week. I got him on my team. I don't even think he's playing.
He might not be playing.
I don't think he's playing.
He
He's not even on my projections. Tavon Austin. He's going to shred Tampa Bay. He's going to shred them.
Tavon's that guy that Tavon, get off the Rams. Go to a different team.
One more guy you got to look out for. You have to look out for Brandon Cooks.
Well, I'm telling you.
He always gets a lot of points. But look at Amari Cooper this week.
Oh, Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper plays
Raiders,
Oakland.
Baby.
He plays for Oakland. They play Tennessee.
Yep.
I think Tennessee sucks.
Yeah, Tennessee has an okay offense.
We were watching something earlier. Marcus Mariota's the best young quarterback.
No.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, don't blame
Tennessee is not as good as you think they are.
Nope.
It's all perception. They got you thinking that they're good. They're not good.
Well, I think one wide receiver, and this is because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get his act together. Randall Cobb is going to do something.
I hope so. I benched him this week. If he does something, I am not going to be a happy guy because Rodgers has sucked. Cobb has sucked. He got me like 2 points last week.
I mean, Kelvin Benjamin is a beast.
You always got to watch out for him.
I mean, he comes in and the only problem is he is weak, ever since the first week he hasn't been,
as fantastic.
But I mean, you got to watch out for him.
Mike Evans.
Oh, Mike Evans.
LA. That's another team. Who the hell is playing Cleveland?
I know, really.
Devontae Parker for the Dolphins.
Oh. I don't know. He's.
If you got somebody playing Cleveland, just do it.
Just do it.
Tight ends.
Oh, tight ends.
Oh, this is gonna be tough.
I think Dwayne Allen, Indiana. Indianapolis.
I got Julius Thomas this week.
I mean, yeah, you got Julius Thomas.
Brent Selleck. I think he might fare well.
Well, you know who's another one? I mean, god dang, the Cleveland Browns suck, but Gary Barnidge. Okay.
Against Miami, I think they might
do something. The only problem is who's going to throw. I mean, Cody Kessler is their quarterback.
Now, look.
Cody Kessler.
Miami has a shit defense, but you have to look at it like this. The only reason Cleveland loses is because their defense sucks.
And they have Cody Kessler starting as a quarterback right now, you know that.
Who is their starting quarterback?
It's Cody Kessler.
Let's just put a no name on the back of there because they change once a game.
I heard. This is an interesting fact, going off from fantasy for a second. This is now, in I want to say 6 or 5 games straight, they've had a different starting quarterback. They've had, because at the start of the year, RG3, McCown.
RG3 is done.
Yeah, he's done.
What do you think he is going to do in the NFL? Seriously. If you think RG3 is going to do something, I want you to call my phone and talk to me directly, because I will tell you how much he sucks. RG3...
He has one good year.
He had one good year and fell off the face of the earth. You see who the starting quarterback is in Washington. Kirk Cousins wouldn't start on a lot of teams.
He wouldn't. Kirk Cousins another discussion.
No, RG3 wasn't even hurt, and he got let off the team. What does Kirk Cousins say? You like that? I like that. RG3 sucks. Get him out of there. Now, flex. Who's your flex guy? I think flex has to be an underrated player because you're not. Now, remember, Odell does play Josh Norman this week. I don't think he's going to do anything. I think Josh Norman's the best corner in the league.
Yeah.
Darrelle Revis has moved out of that role. I think Josh Norman's back.
Norman gets in.
Now, I think Odell Beckham is going to get lined up on him after the controversy. I think it's going to get chippy. I would be careful with Odell because
someone's going to get thrown out.
He might get thrown out the game. And there you are, looking at your fantasy in the first quarter after him and Josh Norman get in a fight.
Oh,
Odell just got. You mean he just got thrown out the game?
Yeah, and then if he's
and then you lose by 3 points, and then guess who's to blame? Odell. Odell is only famous because of one catch. If he would have never made that catch, he's off the face of the earth.
Yeah, Odell. I mean, definitely if you look at the draft that Odell was in with Sammy Watkins, if I had to retake it, of course, yes, I'd take Odell over Sammy Watkins because Odell, he definitely the catch is improvement, but he's got speed. He can catch.
And he does. Another guy to look at, Tavon Austin. That's a really good
Tavon Austin just good.
You can't start Will Fuller anymore. Isaiah Crowell, he's a good guy to put in your flex spot because I know a lot of you aren't going to start him. I know a lot of you guys have better running backs.
If you have Ezekiel Elliott, it might be time to put him in the flex. It's debatable.
I think it's over for Zeke.
I don't know.
He's a guy. Another guy, Frank Gore. He might put up numbers against San Diego. Now kickers.
Frank is okay. So kickers. Who do you take?
I definitely think that. I think that we should go with.
Come on, the Patriots.
Sebastian Janikowski.
Oh no, yes. Yeah, I would. Kickers is such one that it's so hard to really tell you what to do with kickers, right? Is that just me?
You never know. I think the Raiders can't finish.
Kickers.
Who's that team that can't finish? Pick up Dustin Hopkins.
But
Washington's kicker. They can't finish a drive to save their life.
But the problem is Kirk threw so many interceptions in the red zone. That's the only problem. I mean, it's like you want to take him, but if Kirk Cousins, it's not that he doesn't finish drives in a stall in 4th and goal. They stall because he throws an interception in the end zone. So it's like,
true.
I don't know. With kickers, I would have to say, whoever you have.
Defense? Who you think of defense? I think that.
The Jets defense, Darrelle Revis is playing terrible. So don't
go with that.
Do not do that. Oh, with the defense, you got. What do you think? I can't.
What is the rule of thumb?
I didn't want to play the Browns.
The Dolphins, bro.
That's got to be a pick. The Dolphins. The Jaguars. The Jaguars. They're a possibility. No, you don't think so?
Get them out of there. Jaguars suck. Always have. Always will.
Who's the sleeper? Washington.
Ooh,
Washington.
No.
Well, come on. If Josh Norman's going to shut down Odell.
They might fall this year.
No. The Buccaneers. Playing L.A. L.A. can't even throw the ball.
They're going to win. I don't know. Okay, so now let's get to our predictions. Let's go with, let's go Arizona and Buffalo.
Okay.
I'm going to take Arizona in that one, I think.
Arizona. Easily.
Oakland and Tennessee.
Ooh.
Oakland,
yeah, come on. Derek Carr, Amari Cooper. Easily.
I think Miami's got Cleveland.
I'm never picking the Browns. No Cody Kessler at the starting. No.
The Browns are not winning a game for the rest of the season. Unless they play Jacksonville. Now, that's always been their one game.
They're going to beat the Patriots. So.
Baltimore at Jacksonville. Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Detroit at Green Bay. I got Green Bay. I got Cincinnati over Denver.
I don't. Well, it depends. What Trevor Simeon's going to show up? Are we going to see Trevor Simeon average?
Get him out of here.
I think Paxton Lynch needs to start very soon.
Trevor Simeon sucks.
Paxton Lynch needs to be.
Cincinnati is going to win.
Yeah, Andy Dalton probably.
I think Minnesota's going to fall to Carolina.
I don't know because Sam Bradford isn't that bad. Cam Newton, of course, Cam Newton.
It's Cam Newton.
It's I don't know. I'll say Panthers.
It's Cam Newton.
I'll say Panthers.
Washington at New York. This is the tough one. Redskins.
Yeah, Redskins. You know. This is my reason. Josh Norman is gonna shut down Beckham, and who's the cap? Victor Cruz left. You're gonna throw the ball to Victor Cruz? No, it's Kirk Cousins is gonna figure it out. Stop throwing interceptions. I'm calling it right now. There it is.
Agreed.
That's good. I believe.
LA at Tampa. I'll take Tampa.
Tampa.
You know what? No.
No.
LA.
You know, when LA starts during
You
golf,
stick with your Tampa. LA is going to win that game.
Tampa.
Uh,
Tampa's good.
you got San Fran and Seattle. And Seattle sucks, but I'm not going to take Seattle.
No,
I'm not
Seattle-
going to take San Fran over Seattle and Seattle.
I don't know though, but let's look at this. Seattle loses to LA, right? San Francisco demolished LA, but the problem is Seattle always has had a problem with the Rams when they were St. Louis. So
Seattle.
yeah, I can't think.
New York at KC.
If I ever take the New York Jets, shoot me.
You know what? I got the Jets.
No, Jets.
I got the Jets.
Darrelle Revis.
Forte is going to shred Kansas City's defense.
I just don't think.
No, correct. Darrell Revis is
He
going to
can't
get
guard anyone anymore.
But Fitzpatrick played really well last week. And
Fitzpatrick tries to play well every
I
week.
think that just like every other quarterback in the NFL, I think the Jets take it.
I'll take the Chiefs. I'll take
San Diego and Indy.
When Andrew Luck's going to show up. Are we talking about Andrew Luck of the past, or is this?
I think that Indy wins because San Diego can't finish a game.
Well, Joey Bosa needs to get on the field one of these days.
They can't finish a game. Pittsburgh and Philly.
What's our producer got to say back there?
Pittsburgh.
Eagles, baby!
Pittsburgh.
I don't know. Ben Roethlisberger, of course, is good. But Carson Wentz, I don't know if I want to sell on him or buy.
Give me this game. Give me this game, and I'll tell you if I'm buying or not. This game is going to be the deciding factor.
If Carson Wentz wins this game, he's for real. He'll be for real.
Chicago and Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas.
I think Dak is taking out the game.
Ooh.
Dak sucks.
You know,
You just don't know it yet.
going on Dak, I have a question, okay? So, if I give you 3 youth quarterbacks, I want to give you, let's say Garoppolo isn't injured right now, okay? He is, though.
No, you can't throw.
So I can't
you can't throw Garoppolo
Okay, well,
there
then this
because
is what you
he's
get.
not a starter.
This is what you get. Okay, so what you're going to get is youth quarterbacks. Which one do you take for your franchise? Any franchise, okay?
Any franchise.
Let's say you don't have a starting quarterback, so you're the
Correct.
Browns or something. So you got Garoppolo, Prescott, Wentz, Winston, Mariota. Who do you go with?
Jameis. Famous Jameis, bro.
Yeah.
Famous Jameis. He's proven. He's a good player. Dak is not proven. Carson Wentz has to prove himself.
Yep.
Which he can.
What about Mariota? The boy.
The boy.
The boy from Oregon.
He's the boy, not the man.
The boy.
You have to be the man.
Yes, he is not a...
Mariota is a girl. Lastly, I think we're going to Atlanta and New Orleans.
Oh.
Now I'm going to be fair. I'm going to take New Orleans because of
Oh, that's the Monday night game.
home
too.
field advantage.
You know, I don't know. Matt Ryan is Julio Jones? He's not hurt, is he? I thought I heard him hurt. No, I think Julio Jones is good. I don't know. Matt Ryan,
New Orleans. It's in New Orleans. You can't beat that atmosphere.
I don't want to. Yeah, I can't take the Falcons. The sole reason is all as I can think of the Falcons right now is Julio and Matt Ryan. They're far from what the Falcons. Remember when the Falcons actually were a playoff, like a
Fair enough.
legitimate playoff team?
When
Like, so, I mean, I think Drew Brees has got this one under belt. And then the Saints have one of the fastest receiving cores in the
and Brandon
NFL.
Cooks and Willie Snead.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Well, that about wraps up our show. You got your fantasy picks. You got your weekly predictions. We got you your college football schedule. We got you your games. One last live look in to the scores. Let's go check those scores out and just see. One thing, Utah and USC, where did they go? The Yankees are down 5-0 in the bottom of the 7th.
They can't lose. If they lose this, I think it's over.
I think it's
You cut
over.
Sorry, I think it's over.
What is the mascot? The Utes? For Utah?
Yeah, the
Utes?
Utes. Yeah.
USC 14-10 at almost halftime. Upset. USC is
They'll
coming
come back. Utes.
not completely coming back, but they're coming.
Utah, though.
And, that wraps it up, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back on Tuesday with our recap of the weekend, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, and, comment. Let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Catch you later.